Everyone wants a remote job. I work remotely as a senior software engineer in big tech, and yeah, the perks are insane. No commute, no office politics, flexible hours, working from anywhere, and way more time for yourself and your family. But here's the reality. Remote roles are brutally hard to get. The competition is insane. On average, a single remote posting gets 25 times more applications than hybrid roles, and only about 12% of jobs in 2025 are fully remote. That's why if you're still mass applying on LinkedIn or relying on outdated methods, you're just gonna keep on getting ghosted. What you actually need is a smarter, more targeted process. And that's exactly what I'll show you in this video. Which companies are hiring remotely, which platforms actually work, and how to stand out so you land the offer. Plus, I'll share this exact strategy I use myself to secure a six-figure remote role. Hi friends, I'm Maddie. I'm a senior software engineer working remotely, and I previously worked at Google and interned at Amazon, IBM, and Microsoft. When I was doing my own job search, I spent quite a while researching the jobs out there, and what I found will completely change how you approach remote job hunting. Whether you're a complete beginner or you've been a software engineer for years, I'm going to show you exactly how to stand out in this crazy competitive market. And stick around till the end because I'm sharing a strategy that one developer used to land offers from Snapchat, Cloudflare, and other companies all remotely. Let's start with the state of the remote tech job market in 2025. First, here's the good news. 22.8% of US employees work remotely, and tech roles are leading the charge. Remote senior software engineers are averaging $178,000 working from home, and if you have AI skills, you're looking at a 17.7% salary premium. But here's the reality check. Only 12% of new job postings are fully remote, down from the peak we saw in 2021. And get this, 70% of employees plan to tighten remote policies this year. Microsoft is the most remote friendly among big tech, but even they are mandating an RTO policy as of February earlier this year. The real opportunity isn't where you think. While everyone's fighting over FANG remote positions, companies like Atlassian, Automatic, and Shopify have gone completely remote first. And here's the kicker. Smaller and mid-sized companies are often more flexible with remote work than big tech. That's your sweet spot. Now let's talk strategy number one. And this is something I learned from a friend who landed a remote role at a startup. Forget using just LinkedIn Jobs or Indeed, go to smaller job sites. There are many such sites and platforms available for remote jobs, but it's difficult to understand which are trusted and which have fake jobs. That's why I talked to many people, listened to their experiences with remote jobs, and learned about two platforms where genuine remote jobs are available across different categories and your chances of getting hired are higher. For example, let's take Product Hunt. Every single day, new startups launch on Product Hunt. These companies just got funding, they're scaling fast, and they haven't hit traditional job boards yet. Here's exactly what you should do. Browse the daily launches, find products in your tech stack, then directly message the founders on Twitter or LinkedIn. I'm talking about companies that literally launched yesterday, zero competition. One developer I talked to did this every morning with his coffee when he was job hunting. He messaged 3 founders a week and his response rate, 30%. Compare that to the more typical around 1 to 5% response rate on traditional applications. The key is reaching out within 48 hours of their launch when they're actively looking to scale fast. Why does this work so well? Because founders at this stage aren't buried in resumes yet. They're specifically looking for builders who can start right away. If you can show that you're proactive, passionate, and already familiar with technologies they'll need to ship their product, you'll stand out instantly. Another job site people found really useful is Wellfound, formerly called Angelist Talent. It's best for job seekers who want to work at a startup environment. You'll solve problems from scratch in a fast-paced environment. If the startup world excites you, this platform would be a great place to search. And I'm not saying to discount LinkedIn entirely. LinkedIn has a job section where you can add the remote job filter. You can search specifically for those remote jobs, and almost all companies are present here. As an added tip, recruiters often give more preference to DMs, so you can also message them directly and pitch yourself. Strategy number 2 is applying to Google Summer of Code program if you're early in your career. Google Summer of Code isn't just a program. It's fully remote, providing first-hand experience in managing tasks, communications, and collaborations in a distributed environment, enables you to actively participate in open source projects that then enhance your visibility in the dev community, and provides mentorship and a chance to work with other contributors who can lead to professional connections and potential job referrals. Here's the hack for improving your chances of landing this opportunity. Don't wait for applications to open in March. Start contributing to participating organizations now. Pick 3 organizations, start fixing bugs, engage with mentors in their Discord servers, and by the time applications open up, you're not a stranger. You're already part of the team. The stipend is nice, up to 6.6K, but the real value, many participants might get hired by their mentoring organizations. And it's not just Google Summer of Code. There's also MLH Fellowship, Outreachy, Linux Foundation mentorships, and many more programs out there. These programs are literally paying you to audition for remote roles while building your portfolio. Now, if you're more experienced and want to freelance remotely instead of having a remote 9 to 5, let's talk about talent networks for skilled freelancers. Everyone knows about the more standard Upwork and Fiverr, but platforms like Toptal, Gunda.io, and Xteam are completely different. Yes, Toptal has a 3% 30% acceptance rate, but once you're in, you're charging $75 to $200 per hour and clients come to you. Here's the strategy. Don't just apply cold. First, build 2 to 3 standout projects that solve real business problems. Document everything: the problem, your solution, the results. Then, when you apply, you're not just another dev. You're someone who delivers measurable business value. A backend dev I know spent 3 months building a spectacular open source project before applying to Toptal. She got in and within 4 months converted a contract client to a full-time remote position at $160K. The key? These platforms pre-vet you so clients trust you from day one. And obviously, you might need to put in more customized effort to get a remote job than you would to land a more typical 9-to-5. So let me share the exact cold email template that helped Nick Singh land jobs at Airbnb, Snapchat, and Cloudflare. This got him a 15 to 20% response rate, much better than the industry average. His subject line was former Google engineer interested in insert specific role at company. Then he wrote a 100-word max blurb. Line 1, personal connection. Maybe you both worked at similar companies or went to the same boot camp. Line 2 to 3, your specific achievement with numbers. For example, built microservice that reduced latency by 40%. Line 4, social proof. For example, currently interviewing with X and Y competitors. Line 5, clear ask. For example, I love to interview for your senior backend role. Nick's strategy was to send his cold email Tuesday through Thursday at 11 a.m. or 2 p.m. in the time zone of the person he was trying to reach. And here's the key. He followed up to 3 times, spaced 3 to 5 days apart. Most people give up after 1 email. But let's talk about what happens when your email works and you get a call. When you get the interview, everything changes. Remote interviews in 2025 aren't just Zoom calls anymore. Some companies are using pair programming assessments, team matching processes, and AI-assisted coding environments. Also, for many companies, the technical bar has shifted from LeetCode medium to hard problems as standard. Here's what actually makes you stand out. First, your setup matters. Get a proper webcam, good lighting, and test everything 48 hours before. But more importantly, master the art of thinking out loud. In remote interviews, silence is deadly. Practice narrating your problem-solving process. And once you're past the first call, keep in mind that remote interview loops are designed not just to test your own coding ability, but also specifically your ability to work like you already belong on a remote team. Expect multiple stages like coding challenges, system design, and sometimes cultural or values interviews focused on async collaboration. For coding rounds, practice not just solving the problem, but doing it in a clean, production-like way, with tests, edge cases, clear function names, and communicating trade-offs. For system design, lean on diagrams and structured communications. Make sure you practice with tools like Excalidraw or Miro that allow you to virtually sketch out system architecture. And specifically for remote jobs, companies like Automatic do Slack-based interviews. They're testing your async communication skills, so start practicing writing clear, concise, technical explanations now. You can join Discord servers to answer questions and build that muscle memory. And last but not least, the remote culture fit. Many companies will ask scenario-based questions like, for example, you're 6 hours ahead of your team and an urgent bug is reported. How do you handle it? They want to see that you can document decisions, prioritize clearly, and escalate without chaos. Make sure to remember that remote-friendly companies care a lot about how you write and communicate asynchronously. Summaries of meetings, PR descriptions, and even your take-home assignment write-ups are often evaluated as much as the code itself. Treat everything you submit as part of your interview portfolio. In conclusion, the remote tech job market in 2025 is tough, but it is absolutely doable if you're strategic. Start with one strategy I shared today. Whether it's browsing Product Hunt tomorrow morning, practicing your remote interview readiness, or sending that first cold email, just start. If this helped you, subscribe for more real tech career advice from someone who's been in the trenches at big tech. And please remember, you don't have to be perfect. You just need to be strategic. And that's all I have for you in this video. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next one.